Hey guys, so today we got one of our infamous members in our Discord, Beehiver, right? We've had a lot of people guessing her type, so it's great to actually get her on here so we can find her personality type. You don't have to go into anything you're not comfortable with, but what you do say we will use. Can you introduce yourself?
I'll go by Fifi for now because that's always my favorite name to use online. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go by that for now.
Okay. Okay. So how'd you get in typology?
It's a really long story. Like everyone, I love taking online tests, and some of them were pretty shallow, some of them were typology. I didn't take it too seriously at first because I kept getting different results or results that didn't quite resonate or whatever. And I didn't think it really described anyone in my life anyways. But at the same time, I was like into young and stuff because I loved dream interpretation. So that's one way I got into it. And eventually on this Reddit community, everyone was into typology. And I kind of respected them and, the way they thought. And I thought, I just want to see why they're into it. So I decided to give typology a second chance. And I guess when it got more deep, I got more interested because, it used to be like shallow traits and I just didn't see what that was interesting. So yeah, that's how I got into typology.
What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it?
So I like that it exposes blind spots about me because, everyone has blind spots and I get to go deeper. And I don't know, I kind of get like an outside perspective, but what I dislike is that can confuse me a bit, getting like an outside perspective once in a while. So I've noticed that in like other communities as well. And yeah, so that's what I dislike about it. And some people use certain types as like an insult, and that does a good disservice to people who are those types and other types as well. So that's one thing I don't like about type.
Mhm. So if you were to change anything about type, what would it be?
Maybe more clear definition so people can't fill in the gaps with their own agendas. Because I've noticed that with certain types or functions, people have their own agendas and they lump a bunch of traits they don't like into one function, or maybe traits they like into another function, or they look at like someone they know and they don't like and they type it as a type they don't like, and anyone that reminds them of that person, they type as that. So
Mhm.
yeah, less of that.
Yeah, yeah. Thomas, anything?
Yeah. I guess I'll just go to if you had three wishes, what would you wish for?
Unlimited like willpower and energy to like just do things. That's
Hmm.
one thing because I can be a bit short on that. That's like one reason I got into type. Um, I guess another thing would be, you know, I don't know, I have a hard time thinking of wishes. Um, but yeah, that's the main wish I have for now. So I don't know. Do I have to think of other wishes?
I mean,
Yeah, go
well, I mean, you don't have to if that's all that you can think of at the moment. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. But yeah, that's the main wish I, I have. Then, oh, another wish I thought of is that people would actually look deeper into problems in the world because, yeah, that's one issue I notice. And yeah,
Okay, okay.
so yeah.
What do you think are your best skills?
Creativity, like I made that thing in the background. Yeah, I've always been into being creative. Like I was into music early on. Lately, I haven't been into music, but I could like play piano by ear. And yeah, it's like one skill I have. And yeah, I can also think pretty deeply about topics, but I don't know. Hard to say my biggest skills.
Okay. What are you give us three words to describe you?
I guess most people like describe me as creative, like I said, and I guess they also say I'm smart and I guess I overthink things. Yeah, that's what I can think of. And maybe another word, I guess people describe me as quirky. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about that word, but I've heard it a lot. So yeah,
Okay. Um, okay. What do you want to be remembered for?
I guess either like my artwork or work I do, like, work I put into and contribute. So yeah, that's the sort of stuff I'd like to be remembered for. Even if they don't remember me, it would be cool if my work lived on.
Okay. That was in there?
What's I know he asked you like about like what skills do you have, but what skills do you think it's important for people to have generally? Like what's the most important skill to have?
Um, that's a tough skill for me to think of. Um, I guess, yeah, I guess learning how to research things is a good skill. And getting along with people, basic people skills are good. And yeah, and being able to actually think. Yeah, I don't know. That's like a tricky question.
Okay. Um, what's a piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Um, that the teachers are wrong. Yeah, and just continue doing things and don't listen to what they say. And yeah, just keep going after what you're naturally interested in.
Okay. Um, you have trouble with teachers when you're younger?
Yeah, I did. Like some of the things they said to do like made no sense to me and I didn't want to do them. And yeah, there was like a few I really liked, but yeah.
Okay. Like if you could have a dream job, what would it be?
Um, that's pretty tough. Um, I like designing things for sure, but I know like the reality of designing things. So that makes it are you asking about like the dream version of a dream job or like the real life version?
Real life version.
Um, I think maybe user experience seems like an interesting career to get into or marketing. Like that's more realistic. And so far, yeah, because when you design things, there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that go into it. Like it seems so ideal on the surface. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've actually like tried taking steps to get into it, but yeah,
Yeah, we understand.
What would you say? Would you say user experience?
a bit, but I don't know much about it, but it seems interesting.
Okay, yeah, I've never
Like
heard of that before.
like UI, UX, user experience. Like when you're like using a program, you look at like bottlenecks or like issues people are having and you try to make their experience better.
Hmm.
And I can always spot things that annoy me. So I'm hoping to make the world a less annoying place.
Gotcha.
Okay. Um, what annoys you about people?
What annoys you about people? Lots of things. Like I get annoyed in small talk when questions get hard to answer or intrusive. I get annoyed when I get rushed by people. I get annoyed when people act a certain way. I don't know why. That really annoys me. So yeah, endless things, but can't think of them much for some reason. But usually I'm great at thinking of that.
Okay. Okay. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
I guess like I said, people like think deeper into problems and look at like the broader implications. Like for example, with homelessness, that's like such a big problem right now. And of course, people have like surface level solutions like offer more housing, which sort of works, sort of doesn't. And but then I like to look earlier on like problems in the school system, which could lead to homelessness, or like I see people around me and yeah, they get like discouraged by certain teachers. But that's just my like what I'm guessing. I'm not, and it's obviously not the only reason, but I find people look too narrow and define things too narrowly, so then problems don't really get solved.
You said people define things too narrowly. How would you recommend they change that?
Um, by doing like research, which maybe they are, but actually like ask like their life story or what they went through. Like, for example, I see people like in schools having struggling in school, then they get into sketchy crowds to feel like tougher. And then, yeah, that leads in many directions, and lots of them aren't great. So, yeah.
Okay. Mhm. What is your typical weekend like?
Um, I like to like, go to the library, go to a coffee shop, maybe hang out with friends, read a book. Yeah, I like to study other languages. I love that. And yeah, if it's like the weather's good, go for a nice walk and yeah, enjoy a bit of nature. Yeah, lots of things.
Okay, okay. What do you think is the most important thing to you?
Um, I'm not sure at the moment. That's tough to know, but I guess right now I like language learning because it provides me with a goal or like something, I'm improving at. But other than that, it's like hard to know.
Thomas, anything?
Um, how do you learn something new?
So like the first thing I like to research online and get like an overview, like for like language learning, I went on Reddit. I see like what methods people recommending, people's common issues, people's like experiences, and I like to see like what they actually do rather than like the idealized advice, which let's be real here, no one really follows it. And I don't know, oftentimes I find like niche websites where people go in detail about like their study routine. And I guess this prevents me from taking action. I want to work on that. But then if I get a good picture of how the process works, then I can like make a routine that I'll actually stick to. And then I end up learning. Yeah. And I guess for practical things like art, I like to just try things. And yeah, I don't tend to do step by step as much. I avoid it when I can.
Gotcha. You said you don't do step by step?
No, it just doesn't tend to make sense. And yeah, that's the issue I have. So yeah.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Um, Too much ambiguity lots of times, but it's not always bad. Like for baking, I kind of enjoyed baking a few times, you know, but other than that, it's like things always seem to go wrong when I do step by step, and my brain can't keep track of it. Like, I think that's more ADHD, so that might be complicating things. So, yeah, I get frustrated with step by step.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so
Yeah. What do you think you need to be at your best?
um, I guess proper sleep is good. A sense of it like moving in life, I don't know. That's like the $1 million question, and I still don't know. But yeah, I guess a bit of novelty, but yeah, but not kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. What do you think you struggle with the most?
Motivation. Um, like I don't really know what motivates me, and there's some things I can stick to, and a bunch of things I try and can't stick to, and that frustrates me. And also people skills a bit. Like, yeah, I'm not the best with people, so yeah.
You're not the best with people. Why do you say that?
Um, I don't know. I just find it hard to make friends, and I just don't think I'm like the best.
Okay. What do you think you could do to change things about yourself?
Um, I don't know. Right now, I guess I tend to do research to improve at things. Obviously, that has its limits, but I don't know. Surround myself with like people who kind of inspire me a bit, like I don't know. I just see people doing things and then it just like, yeah. Because if I'm not around the right crowd, then yeah, I might not be as motivated.
Okay, okay.
So yeah.
Mhm. Um, mm, mm.
If everything went as planned, where do you see yourself in like the next 5 or 10 years?
Um, hope like having a more established career, like I mentioned, user experience or
Hmm.
marketing, have a decent place in a decent part of town, hopefully, and have like more of a circle of friends. And yeah, that's where I hope to see myself.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, if you were on a team, what role do you think you would play?
I tend to be the one that like suggests ideas, and it's pretty easy for me to sell ideas to people. And oftentimes, when people suggest ideas, I can like instantly see a flaw in how it won't work, and then I can suggest another idea, and like I'm not stuck on my idea. Like if someone thinks of a better idea than mine, it's like okay, I'm happy to switch. But yeah, I tend to like yeah have ideas, and I can also like be an editor, like you know, so I can kind of be okay with certain detailed tasks in a group. Yeah.
What do you think is your weakest spot with just overall?
Like I said, motivation is my weakest spot. And yeah,
Okay.
that's what I think at least. I don't know.
Mhm. Um, Thomas, anything?
I'm thinking. I think we covered a lot of them, so
Yeah, I mean, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Getting nervous, but yeah.
Good. Um, what do you think you struggle with people and why?
I might not know what to say or might say something like that's inappropriate and I might not like use the right tone of voice or body language. Yeah, lots of things. And once in a while, like I hurt people without meaning to. And of course, I've worked at it because it's like I saw it was a weakness, so I improved at it. So just because I'm not terrible right now doesn't mean, yeah, like that's at least the level I think I improved to, like from pretty awkward to maybe not terrible.
Damn, yeah, you made this tough for us.
do you how to ha- what is your relationship towards like being accepted? Like, is that something that you feel like you're not accepted?
I guess, like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's hard to get like, yeah, seem or get question people a bit. Like, people can be hard to trust. Like, are they just being nice because of pity, or are they actually being nice? And yeah, so that's a challenge I have.
Hmm.
Okay. Hmm.
And I don't like when it comes to like schooling or whatever. Like, are there certain areas that you really like thrived in? Like, are there certain like what were you really good at versus
I
like what were you?
guess, I guess English. Like, I don't know. I think I've been naturally good at like English, and yeah, that was and art, I guess. And I don't know, I guess I struggled in topics I found boring in the moment. And yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm, awesome. Hmm. What's one thing you would what's a suggestion you would give me for the group?
Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't have much of an idea.
Yeah. Well, just wanted to see if I could pull something out of you there. Mm, anything, Thomas, you think we're done here? What do you think?
Um, mm,
You know, let's have a fun. What is something you would go to jail for?
Um, Tax evasion, like, because I forgot some small print. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I could get in trouble for that.
Okay. We done, Thomas? What were you thinking?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were a tricky one. You really, really were a tricky one. Um, One thing that I noticed early on, like things of dream interpretations stuck out to me. That
Yeah.
was one of the things that was important to you. So when I heard dream interpretation, that is another form of abstraction, right?
Okay.
So when
Yeah.
I noticed that, I noticed, okay, this person is an abstract person, right?
Okay.
Um, I was easily able to align that with your type. I noticed that you talked about people not defining things clearly, right?
Yeah.
So that means you have a problem with people's definitions or whatnot. So
Yeah, I struggle with that.
that's generally going to be a TI thing, right? Because
Okay.
TI
Yeah.
is understanding, defining, blah blah blah, whatever. Um, Understanding, defining, all of that Jimmy Jazz there. They like specific definitions, right? They like to hold people to those fucking definitions. And the big problem I have with TI users is they don't use colloquial definitions. They use their own definition for things.
Yeah, I try to do that to be clear to people, like to be clear to people. I've been told I'm good at being clear, but everyone's human.
Yeah. So we got you for TIFE and abstract there. You're also a SINE user, right? Like one
Okay.
thing you care about is sleep. And this is where it got tricky here. It was like, okay, are we looking at an ENTP here? Or are we looking at an INTP here?
Okay.
Um, One thing that stuck out to me was not hurting people. Like you have insecurity aligned, not hurting people, and your voice like offend
Mm.
people, and you worked on it. So that sounds like you worked on your inferior function there. So
Yeah, because as a kid, I always used to hurt people's feelings, and I really didn't like that, and I was considered mean, and I just wanted to be a good person, so I've worked on it for sure.
yeah, so that's FE inferior there. So
Okay.
we have to hit you INTP.
Oh, okay. I've actually gone that on online tests, but I wasn't sure I agreed with them. Like, even
Mm-hmm.
though I barely knew about the theory, I thought, nah, that's just describing disorders or whatever. Not
Mm-hmm.
going to go into them, but the stereotypes.
Yeah, I mean,
And yeah.
I don't think it. I don't look at it from like the disorder of anything, but what I notice is like these people really focus on being logical, the definitions and all that. That's number one to them. What I've noticed from like pretty much being around Christian for a large majority of my life is that when Christian wants to understand something, he has to sit there and break it down, and he won't move until he's broken it down. As opposed to me, I'm just like move, 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 move. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Because understanding is not as important to me. But for him, it's like
Mhm.
he will get frustrated if he can't understand something. Like he will like, yo, leave me alone. Like I'm like, yo, we need to move this shit alone, because I'm a TE user, right? I don't care as much about
Yeah.
understanding deeply as he does, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's what I've noticed. Yeah. I've noticed that I find it hard to take action if I don't understand something.
mhm,
So yeah, that's and like with the whole language learning, when I learned how it actually worked, rather than forcing myself to follow some textbook or like the first website I found,
mhm,
if I understand the process of language learning and like which goals I actually have,
mhm.
then I can actually make a routine I'll stick to.
Yeah, system. So that's another systematic. You're coming off very systematic with even that. And also another thing you said, suggestion ideas for people.
Yeah.
Usually that's any parent, right?
That's like what I was
Suggested.
confused about because like in groups, I'm always good at spotting flaws in someone's plan. Like I was like in this linguistics class
Mm-hmm.
and someone it was like a mock study, it happens in like those classes and they wanted to see if like, grammatical gender, if you know, if
Mm-hmm.
like a feminine, like, a woman versus a man saying a voice would like impact the grammatical gender. And I thought that's a flawed idea because how am I supposed to find citations for that? And I wanted to make it easier for the group. And I had another idea, but it was over Zoom. So no one really could listen. And then I got really frustrated because the whole project made no sense. And it's like, yeah, how am I going to find citations for this? Because the goal of that project is to find citations and read things because it was like linguistics 101,
Okay, so you just said the goal there of that, which means the outcome, right?
I guess.
You're hitting on the outcome there. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
like,
just want to make the project as fun and easy for everyone and get a good mark.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
Efficiency.
efficiency. Yeah, and the any parent there, like suggesting ideas for people, that's any parent, that's textbook, any parent there.
okay. Yeah, I
Um,
was confused because to me, my NE seems pretty good,
mhm.
especially with like all the art.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I mean, any parent is really good. Like it is really good. Like that's like saying NI parent's not good, or TI parent is not good, or TE parent is not good. Like all parent functions are good long as you take the time to develop them. A lot of people don't develop them, and that's a big problem to them, right?
Yeah, like for me,
Um,
another thing I've been confused about is like lots of times I don't notice myself using TI. I notice myself using like any or
hmm
trying to improve with people, and that's what I mainly notice.
hmm You notice yourself using what? Which one?
Any, like
Yeah.
I always think of wacky ideas in my head, like hairless rabbits and all of that, and like then I think of a whole story for the hairless rabbits eventually, and
hmm
yeah, so
Yeah. I'm trying to break that down in my brain right now, what you just said, because you said it so fast. So you said you generally notice yourself using NE,
yeah, that's what I mostly notice myself using.
so you don't even notice yourself using TI.
It's hard to notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's automatic.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's in the hero function, so it's automatic. You won't even notice yourself using it because it's just there. While a parent function actually does take a little bit more use, more energy or usage, I
Okay.
would say, because it's not your hero function, right? It's
Yeah.
the backup. It's the backup to the hero function, right? So people will notice like, oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
in NI here, okay. Or like Thomas was like, oh, I'm noticing TE. And a lot of times people kind of get slapped with the critic sometimes when they use their parent function, and the critic is the one that's
hmm
zapping the energy.
Yeah. Like I thought I was possibly noticing NI critic in myself because like once in a while people suggest careers like translation. I'm thinking that will never lead anywhere. Like boom, automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Like could that be considered like a critic function if I
Yeah,
think, wow, that idea won't work? Like yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's also, I mean, depends on where you're looking at with it because you could be saying the idea won't work based off TI, or it may not work because of NI.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I just think, okay, the salary is not that high, and I've heard it's like underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't see how it'll go to like broader careers, or it looks kind of like it's not literally dead end, but to me, in my head, it seems dead end.
Mm-hmm. Because you can see the outcome. Yeah, the
I
end product.
maybe, yeah.
You can see the end product. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel pretty good about this one. I feel pretty good at first. I was
Okay,
not.
thanks. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I wasn't feeling good early on when we first got in there. But as we kept going, I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh shit, this I can see why she's been trouble for everybody else. But I have to say, what's his name was right. What's his name? Fuck. Well, a lot of people were right. Damn, I can't remember his name, and he came and visit me. Shit, I can't remember his name.
Henley, I think.
Henley. There
Yeah.
we go. Henley was right. So I got to give him some credit because I got on to him.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
I've been told to have a good memory for details. Like for a while I was considering NI dominant, but I thought my memory's too good.
mhm.
Like I've always been known for like a good memory. Like even as like a little kid, I could like memorize like lyrics of songs. Like I don't know if I do it anymore, but I also notice it in like other languages.
That's our
Like
job.
with Finnish, like even though I wasn't studying Finnish at the moment, it's like I just picked up the words, boom,
Mhm.
just listen to it, and then I could recognize the words in other songs. Because like, you know, have you ever done torrenting? You know, piracy. Basically, like it's downloaded and it had like the title, like English and Finnish, and then that's how I knew Finnish words and
Mhm.
just automatic. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can just like hear words in other languages, and it's like, how do other people not hear words in songs and even in other languages? And yeah,
Your memory's really good.
yeah, it's what I've been told. Like one
That's our
time,
child.
yeah, when I was like 4 or 5, my mom said that I remembered something like from 2 years old, and I
Damn.
kind of still do. Like when my mom was announcing I was getting a sister, I
Mhm.
still kind of remember that day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're an INTP. Congratulations.
So like ENTPs don't have good
If-
memory.
Not that well because it's SI inferior.
Okay, so they don't remember like
They,
random childhood stuff.
they don't remember, like it's kind of like there, but it's not there. It's kind of like it. They can remember it, and a lot of times, what they say from the literature is that they can over exaggerate their SI,
Okay,
or
another
they could
thing,
be, or they could be
yeah.
annoyed, like they could be annoyed that they don't remember everything from their SI.
Oh, yeah. Like, do you have like Enneagram, like, and the other stuff in subtype, or you didn't get that? That's what I'm curious
I
about.
would probably say that you're creative. You seem like a creative.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, like I was sure of that before anything else.
And I think you're 5.
That's what I was thinking. And I'm guessing a four wing because I can get pretty emotional and you've seen it. And when I'm like emotional, people say, oh, that must be FI when I get emotional. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, I get emotional.
I think everybody gets emotional to a degree. Um, you know, I mean, I get emotional from time to time, but I try to well, I mean, I can't even say shit because people in the group are gonna be like Mercer when he gets in his bad little mood, he starts fucking executing everybody. I could be a real stickler for bad information a lot of times, and especially if I'm like kind of know it kind of goes outwardly, and I can start like busting people's balls in the group about like
I
just
kind of,
bad information.
I mostly ignore it. But if like someone keeps sticking to an idea, I'll mock it because it's
Hmm.
like I can't directly argue with them. So I'll just try to like undermine concepts like,
Hmm.
okay, so you're saying having a music taste is FI. Okay, explain that to me.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways,
I mean,
that's
I think
yeah.
everyone's human, so like anybody can listen to music. Anybody can like music. I think a lot of times people go too far with the type shit, like, trying to be like, oh, this has to be FI, this has to be TE, this has to be whatever. And it's like you got to kind of listen to somebody and listen to the overall pattern to where it's going.
Yeah, like for me, I got better at filtering that out when I read like the more deep literature. Like I read like John Beebe and yeah, other things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like John Beebe, but he's too informative for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to say his
Like
type, but
I read his book and it's like, what's the big deal people are making out of it? Especially because, you know, I've read like other languages and it basically makes John Beebe feel like a picture book.
Really?
Yeah, like when like I'm just being honest, if you're reading another language, it's hard.
Have you read Young?
Um, I've read a bit of Young, like first like the audio form, like a bit of psychological type. I know I haven't gotten fully into it. I'm reading like the lectures from Young and you know conscious orientations, that book, from a Jungian author. Yeah, I enjoyed that book quite a bit. And it went into like what feeling functions actually are. So yeah.
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, they're your type, so I mean, obviously it's easy for you to like listen to them. I generally hate listen to any NTP because they're so informative and they use their own definitions, which are not colloquial. And that annoys me because sometimes I see a word and I'm like, okay, let me look at the definition, and that's not the definition.
Yeah.
So I
Not,
swear it's like they should come up with their own like dictionary at the back of the fucking book. That would
yeah,
fucking
some of
make
them
me
did.
quite a bit.
I read like this Jewish philosophy and he kept like redefining words and yeah, it had like this, yeah, it was like non-fiction and it went over what each word actually meant because people mix up on those words. So that was pretty interesting. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, it put me to sleep. So it was bedtime reading, just Jewish philosophy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird because it's like boring but interesting at the same time and it like alternates. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, Anything you want to say, Thomas?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, and off the bat, I did think that you were an NP just based on appearance. It's just I don't have a ton of experience with INTP women, so like I didn't know exactly what to look for. But now after like talking to you more, I think it's like you remind me of this girl I used to work with. Like your speech pattern is very similar. You look maybe a little bit similar, but more so like your speech pattern is almost identical.
Probably
Um,
that. Yeah.
like your cadence, which is something we often
Hmm.
see when people have the same type.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, initially I was a little bit scared. Is she really an INTP? But I think it's just you're a creative subtype, and then you're a five wing four. So you weren't exactly fitting the
Yeah, I
stereotype that I
know.
had in mind for INTP. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
after talking to you, to me it's the only type that makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
because like, on this online community, like which wasn't typology related, people even said, "Oh, total Enneagram 4." So it's like people notice the wing more a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I get into like this 4 mood, and it's not a good mood.
Well, I think it's because the creative mindset, but if you listen to yourself, you kind of always outline a goal or an outcome to
mhm.
everything you
That's what I was
approach to.
confused about a bit.
You kind of always have a defined goal or an outcome, no matter what you're
Okay.
doing. Even when your group, you talked about like, oh, well, the group's overall goal was this and this and this and that, and it's like, okay, so you're talking about the overall outcome here. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, INTP. The creative subtype just makes it different. So it makes you more into arts and things, right?
Yeah.
But you're still
And
designing and making systems.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah, and like and I also got into like fashion and stuff because, I was like really nerdy. And when it was like time for middle school, I thought, time to get into fashion.
mhm.
So like I read like the magazines and stuff and yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it would like get me like accepted more. I guess
Mhm.
people liked my outfits, but it didn't get me popular like the TV show said it would. So yeah,
Yeah, it's the social skills, the social skills and the social dynamics. Yeah, FE and
like I
FE.
I thought fashion would help me avoid the social skills.
I have a different approach to like how I like do it. I don't think about like social hierarchies or anything. I just think about like if I'm performing at my best, people are gonna have to listen to me. People are gonna have to do what I want regardless, right? As long as I'm doing what I need to do in performance. I don't really like focus so much on like making other people happy. It's like I just need to make sure that I'm performing. Because if I'm performing and I'm doing good, I don't give a fuck what they're saying. They're gonna do what I fucking want. That's my approach to everything. It's like I don't give a shit. Like the group's gonna listen to fucking me. I just don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a shit about the little social games. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. It's like if I'm doing my best, whatever, I know when I'm at my best, people have to listen. You know.
Okay.
Like you try
Yeah.
to play the little
I
social games and it's like it never works. It never like, oh, let me be nice to her and then no, 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 no. Fuck that.
like I guess in my experience it pays off to get better at the social games.
Yeah.
Like even basic things like asking people how their day was because I don't like to be asked that question much,
Hmm.
but I guess other people appreciate it and I find it hard to get into detail about how my day went. Like
Hmm.
so I don't know, just simply turning it back to people. Like yeah, even that basic
But
stuff pays off.
well, because you got FE inferior, I would say just small steps. Like Christian said, like for him, he took the small steps of just like saying hi to people in the elevator, right? Just like little small
Yeah.
things like that, and like opening themselves up to more group activities, right?
Yeah, that's
Um,
challenging
it's challenging, but
because I
it
get
gets
bored.
better over time. It gets better over
Yeah, I
time.
know. Yeah, I've been getting more into being in groups a
Hmm.
bit, and even joining like voice chat was hard at first.
I'm usually never in voice chat, like ever.
Yeah,
I see everybody
but
else in voice chat, and I just pop in and like
yeah, it was
yell at Nymeria, and then I leave.
yeah, yeah, that's fun, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
It's great
thanks. It was
to get you
fun.
on, and we'll send you your verified tag over there. And I guess I'll
Thank you.
upload this. Thomas, are you how much how much do you have for the next one? Are you gonna be able to do it? If not,
Um,
cancel it.
I mean, if we can get it done like in like 20 or 30 minutes, I could
All
probably
right,
do it. Yeah.
all right, that should work.
And can you use like the picture of me with like the
Just send me,
blue-green hair?
yeah, send it to me. Okay,
Yeah, I think I
okay,
sent it to you, but I'll send it again.
okay. Well, all right, Beehiver.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.